Hello and welcome to Tricks of the Straight channel. Today is the 12th of September 2017, and today's feature we're featuring somebody who died during the times of the group called TLC, whose name is Lisa Lopes. Um, um, I was just looking through some pictures and I happened to stumble upon Lisa Lopes, and a friend of mine actually told me, could you take a look at Lisa Lopes? I've always been suspicious of this person. So I took a look, and also someone left me a comment and said, could I take a look at Lisa Lopes? And to my surprise, I found out that something was off about Lisa. So we're revisiting Lisa Lopes today, and we're going to find out if Lisa Lopes was actually the gender that she claimed at that point in time. Lisa Lopes was a member of the group called TLC, and we are going to find out if the whole crew also were the gender they claimed. So if it's your first time on our channel, I'd like to welcome you. I would suggest that you pause this video right here and go look for a primer video. If you do not watch the primer video, a lot of the stuff that you're going to be watching in this video or hearing me say is going to sound very confusing to you, and you're going to have more questions than answers. So I suggest that you watch the primer video first. When you're done, then you can come back and continue watching this video. I'm going to show you how to get to the primer video in a second, so hold on. So the primer video exists as a playlist on this channel, okay? So all you need to do is go to the channel and look for the playlist called primer, or just look for the video called primer. It's gonna be the oldest video on this channel. I'm hovering my mouse right over it right now. So when you click on this video, all right, and you start watching it, we have a document that is attached to every video that we make. The video, the document is in the description section of the video. As I'm hovering my mouse over it right now, when you click on that link on any video besides the primer video, it's on every video on this channel, it's going to take you to this document. The document is called Male versus Female Visual Differences. It's going to take you like 30 minutes to go through this document, because it has like 44 pages. It just has a lot of pictures. It will help you to show you the visual differences between male and female. Even though this document will show you the male versus female visual differences, the major difference that you have to stick to when trying to identify the sex and gender of anybody is to take a look at the skeletal structure which helps a woman to give birth, because that's the main distinguishing factor between a man and a woman. A woman is designed to give birth and men are not. So because of that, a female will primarily always have her hips or hip joints sticking out below her crotch. She's going to have a wide pubic arch. Her pelvis is going to be tilted forward, and she's going to have an arch in the back, because the spine is much more flexible and because the pelvis is tilted forward, so that they can accommodate the weight of carrying children and bearing and pregnancy as well. So that's going to be the go-to factor when you're trying to distinguish the sex of people. So that's that. So let's get into the document, because we are already into transvestigation as well, because the way we make videos has changed. So I'm going to show you the visual differences between what we're going to be looking at when trying to identify the feature that we have on today's show. And then after that, I'm going to play a short video, and then we get into transvestigation proper. So this is a female to my left, and as you can see right there, this female has an arch in her back, because the arch is necessary support for the weight of carrying children, and because the pelvis of a woman is tilted forward. Every pelvis, no woman has a straight pelvis, otherwise she wouldn't be able to get pregnant and carry children. So the pelvis is always tilted forward. Now with some women, the pelvis is much more, the arch in the back is much more is subtle, and some is very, very deep. But in every case, every woman has a tilted pelvis forward. That's the reason why it seems like a woman walks around with her butt sticking out. And because of that pelvis tilted forward, then depending on, let's say, the fat intake that the woman has, or maybe the way she can pack on fat, it makes it look like she has that hourglass figure. All right, and some females' butts will stick out much more than others. So this is a woman right here on my left. She's gonna have an arch in her back. Depending on where you draw the arch, is gonna be a C-shaped arch or an S-shaped arch if you draw it up higher. All right, and here is a man to my right. and he has a straight back. Men do not have arches in their back. If a man's back wants to arch, it's going to arch outside like a D or a P. I want you to remember those letters. For a woman, it's a C or an S. For a man, the back is shaped like a D or a P. Please do remember that. It's very, very important when you start looking at the visual difference between a man and a woman. If a man tries to forcefully put an arch in his back, it's going to be shaped awkwardly like an L. Okay? I want you guys to remember that too. It's going to be shaped awkwardly like a slanted L. But if a woman does it, you're going to see a very beautiful deep C arch in the back. All right? Okay, so let's move further into the document to show you some other stuff. So a woman will always have a deep arch in her back. A woman's back is always going to arch much more than that of a man. If a woman tried to arch her back outwards, it would arch such much more that you can see that it looks like she has a humpback. If a man tried to arch his back, he wouldn't be able to do that. So a female's back will always arch more in such a way that if she arched it outside, you see a humpback. If she arched it inside like this woman right here, you will see that deep C arch in the back. Now, it doesn't matter what body structure the woman has, okay? It doesn't matter if she's big, she's tall, she's small, she's skinny. There's always going to be an arch in a woman's back. It can be subtle, it can be deeply noticed, but the arch is always going to be there, all right? So it doesn't matter what size the woman comes with, all right? There's a big woman to my left right now on the screen. As you can see, she still has an arch in the back, and the pelvis is tilted forward, all right? There's a small female to my, oh, sorry, the woman was to my left, and then there's a woman to my right. She has a C-shaped arch in her back, and the pelvis is still tilted forward. It doesn't matter if the woman's got muscles, muscular females, because, you know, there is a lot of fake information out there that something can change the skeletal structure of a man to a woman or a woman to a man, depending on the drugs, or if they take certain drugs before they hit puberty and all that. That's all fake science. And today we're going to talk about fake science as well on this particular video. We're going to help you to understand that there is such a thing as fake science, because real science will always point you to an intelligent design, which means God Almighty. So since the Vatican, which controls the educational system, they won't teach you this kind of anatomy in school. They'll never teach you the difference between the male and female anatomy. That the female skeletal structure is designed to give birth, and the male skeletal structure is not. It's done by design on purpose, because when you start looking at the real differences, the intelligent design of how the skeletal structure of a man and a woman is designed is going to only point you to one thing, that there is God Almighty. So real science points you to God, shows you that an intelligent creator made this world. All right, and I'm talking about the God of the Geneva Bible and the King James Bible. But when you start looking at fake science, which I'm going to show you today, because we have a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about on the show as well, you're going to understand that there is a lot of fake science which wants to point you in the opposite direction, that things just happen by chance, when the Vatican damn well knows that nothing happens by chance. They're deliberately trying to run the world, and they're making things happen to make it work that way, to make sure that they run the world. So they're not leaving it up to chance. There is no such thing as chance. There's no such thing as coincidences, as I'm going to show you later on in the video. So stay tuned, all right? So there's a muscular female, as I'm back to what I was saying. She still has an arch in her back, all right? Another muscular female, arch in her back. So it doesn't matter, right, what drugs you take, because the skeletal structure is designed at conception. Nothing can change that. If a sperm that carries male traits meets an egg during conception, that is stamped. You can't change the skeletal structure. Nothing can change it. And when you're going to administer drugs to that fetus, it won't change it. All right, it's stamped. Same if a sperm that carries female traits meets an egg during conception, it's stamped. The skeletal structure will never change, because you have to understand that the skeletal structure is like building the foundation for a house. Okay, once the foundation is set, the only way you can bring down that house is to destroy the foundation. And when you destroy the foundation, that means that house goes down. That means a person dies. You can't change the skeletal structure. All right, I just want you guys to notice that. Let's move on to playing the video to show you where the female hip joints are located at, and then we'll go into some more transvestigation and some more talk. So I'm gonna play a short video that shows you where the female hip joints is at. Now, people always say, you know, a lot of delusional people and Vatican agents always come up and say, oh, my hips are way higher up and I am female and all that. The hip joints will never change. So some people get confused about their body structure, in the sense that some females tend to lay up fat a lot around the midsection, such that it makes them look like the hip joints are far way up. But what you're looking at is just fat around your midsection. The hip joints of a woman is always gonna be below her crotch. It doesn't matter if she has small hips. It doesn't matter if she has big hips. It doesn't matter if she has no hips at all. You can't change the location of the hip joints. It's always going to remain the same no matter the body structure that you have. Okay? So that's what I'm going to show you, because you have to understand that when a woman is trying to fit into clothes, the way they measure the hips is always going to be the same. That's how clothes are designed all over the world. Otherwise, female clothes wouldn't be female clothes, because you would have the wrong location for a woman's hips. So I'm going to play the short clip here so you guys can notice that. So that's a woman, as you can see right there. She's spreading downwards wider. The woman is getting wider as she goes downwards, because that's the reason for the wideness, is because so that a baby can fit inside the womb and can come out of it successfully without no problems. So if this woman's hips were higher up here, as a man's case, right, that would be impossible, because the hips would be in the way of the pelvis. So this is intelligent design, showing you that these things are not happening by chance. Someone took out the time to construct this, to make this happen. So the hip joints are located below the crotch, below the pelvis area, the pelvic area, so that this woman can be able to give birth when she wants to. So I play the clip. And as you can see, the tape's going to go around to show you where the hip is at. And that's how a woman is fitted into clothes, because that's where her hip joints, or hips, the widest points, are sticking out at. All right. Okay. So the tape goes around. She's going to spin around so you can see from the back where it is. She spins around right there. And as you can see, it's just slightly below the bum line. Okay. Slightly below the bum line. That was way too quick. Let me do it again. You can see that's the bum line, and the widest point in that woman's hips is slightly below the crotch. I think my screen is a little bit fuzzy, so I may have to replay this again one more time so you guys can actually see it correctly. So pardon me. So I'm playing the clip again right now, and here we go. So as you can see, this is much more like clearer HD. As you can see, the woman is still spreading downwards. Okay, tape goes round. As you can see, it goes round, and the tape goes round below the crotch, crotch, sorry to say. That's where a female's hips is at. Play again. She's going to turn around so you can see it from the back. So one more tip I want to leave you guys. If you're trying to look at a woman, all right, and maybe you're taking up a picture and you're trying to do a transvestigation, and you get confused about looking at it from the front, try to see if you can find a picture of that woman from the back, because from the back you're actually going to see where the Q angle, or where the hip joints of anybody is at, because you have to understand that the Q angle, meaning the angle between the hip and the knee, starts where the hip joints are at. So for a man, it's above the crotch. For a female, it's below the crotch. So when you look at a person from the back, you're actually going to see where the very clear distinction where the hip joint is at. Because as you see right here, you can see right there that the Q angle of this female starts below her crotch, right? And you can see that the location of the hip joints is slightly above the bum line, slightly above it. If it's way too farther up, when you see that Q angle, or where the hip joints is at, that means that's a dude who is way too far up above from the bum line. So the hip joints are slightly just above the bum line, but below the crotch. So that's what I wanted you guys to take notice of. So let's move on. So before I move on into the things that I want to talk about on today's video, first of all, I have to put out some warnings. The first warning is that I'm going to be reading from the Bible, specifically the Geneva Bible and the King James Bible on today's show. So if you're one of those people who are only interested in transgenders, because I say a lot of things on this video on our channel, and people only hear the transgender part, you have to understand that this is not a transgender channel. I have to say it over and over again. The reason why we feature a lot of transgenders is because we're trying to show you the whole picture, and showing you that showing you also the transgender part of how things are all connected around you, showing you the evil that the Vatican is doing in this world. So this channel is not a transgender channel. It's an education channel. That's why we have a document. That's why we take out the time to put out the material that we do, so you can study on your own, because it doesn't make any sense for one of us only to know the truth and the rest don't. I want everybody who's interested in the truth to know it for sure. Okay, so this is not a transgender channel. I have to say that specifically again and again. So if you're the kind of person who gets upset about the Bible, and you don't like the Bible, you think it's one of those fake books out there, you need to pause this video right here and just quit, because I'm going to be reading and showing you from the Bible a lot of stuff that I'm going to be talking about today. Because today we're going to talk about the Vatican codes of deception. There's a Vatican code of deception. Somebody might say, might much more be interested in say, okay, it's gematria, but it's not gematria. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. Or gematria. It's spelled Gema, I think, Tria, gematria. If that's the correct way to say it, then pardon me. All right. So I'm not gonna be talking about gematria, but just some things that you should notice when you look at the major events that's happening around the world and that's reported on your news or propaganda channels, that you're gonna be seeing the Vatican code of deception. I'm not saying anybody should be interested in putting their heads or minds into gematria, because according to the Bible, it's very, very demonic. It's just something I want you guys to notice and take notice of when you're studying or when you're listening to the news, so you can know that the Vatican code of deception is at work. Now, also, the next warning that I'm going to put up is that there is no slandering allowed on this channel. There is a way we go about calling someone a transgender. So if you're going to label someone a transgender, you just can't say this person is a transgender. That is not accepted on this channel. If you do so, we will block your comments or delete your comments. If you're not sure, if you don't have verifiable facts that the person is a transgender, you can send me an email. The email is the same. My email is the same as the channel name, at gmail.com. You can send me an email and we can talk about it to see if you are looking at what you're looking at right. Okay, if you want to take out time for me to answer your questions, because a lot of people leave comments and I do not respond to them because I can't respond to all the comments. All right, if you want me to really answer a question that you have in mind, send me an email. That's the best way to do it. Send me an email. Don't leave a comment. I may or may not answer, just depending on what I'm doing at that point in time. Okay, so there is no slandering allowed on this channel. You do not call someone a transgender without facts, and those facts have to be centered about the female skeletal structure. You have to show with links of pictures or videos that the person that you have in question that is a transgender has hips or hip joints below the crotch sticking out. All right, that's where the Q angle of everybody starts, at where your hip joints at. That the person has hip joints or hips below the crotch, the widest point of that hips, and that the person's pelvis is tilted forward. The person has an arch in the back, or the person has a wide pubic arch. Those are the differences. That's what makes a woman to be able to give birth. So if your comments do not contain that in pictures of links showing that, then you're going to be blocked, you might be deleted, and that's it. Because like I've said before, this channel is not really about what would I say? It's not really about the number of subscribers. It's not really about the number of subscribers, but the quality of subscribers. That's what we really care about, because we want people to understand the truth and know the truth for what it is. Okay, So you have to remember that. So that's a warning that I have to put out there for you guys to remember. Now, the next warning that I have to put up, it's not more like a warning. It's more like trying to make people understand that we have nothing against transgenders. We do not judge people. We're merely exposing people caught in a lie, and that's what you ought to do. If you find somebody lied to you, tell them that you lied to me. You're not telling me the truth. So we are not against transgenders in any shape or form. We don't care about what you do. We have no authority to judge any transgenders. God has given you free reign over your life to live it through any type of way. He remains the judge, not us. And then also, as I usually say, the Vatican is the one who's behind the organized transgendering of taking young children and changing them, all right, into a product that they can use and they can trust, verifiable product that they can use to run and shape your world and shape your mentality and your mental scope, all right, so that you can freely lay down and accept the new world order which they want you to. So that's that. So let's move on and talk about some things, because the trans investigation has started right here. So we're on the web page of Lisa Lopes. You can pause the video at any point in time and go look up the web page of Lisa Lopes on Wiki, the official stats right here. And it says Lisa Nicole Lopes was born May 27, 1971 and died April 25, 2002. Better known by her stage name Left Eye, was an American hip-hop singer, rapper, actress, songwriter, and producer. She rose to fame in the early 1990s as one-third of the girl group TLC alongside Tion, T-Balls, Watkins, Rosanda, Shirley Thomas. Besides rapping and singing background vocals on TLC recordings, Lopes was one of the creative forces behind the group. She received more co-writing credits than the other members. She also designed the outfits on stage for the group and brought concepts to the group image, album titles, artworks, and music videos. Through her work with TLC, Lopes won 4 Grammy Awards. All right. So they say here that on the official webpage that she was she's a native or born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She was age 30 when she died. Well, let's just read. There's something I want you guys to take notice of in this particular web page. I'm just going to scroll down a bit and show you that. So I'm going to read a portion of the web page in which they show that how Lisa Lopes died. It says here on April 25, 2002. In La Ceiba, Honduras, while driving a rented Mitsubishi Montero SUV, Lopes swerved slightly to avoid a truck. It is not clear if the truck was slow-moving or stationary. Then immediately to the right as she tried to avoid an oncoming car. The vehicle rolled several times after hitting 2 trees, throwing Lopes and 3 others. This code of Vatican deception is everywhere. We're going to talk about that today. It says throwing Lopes and 3 others out of the windows and finally coming to rest in a ditch at the side of the road. Now, when people read stuff in the news and watch the news, they read too fast. They don't see the number symbology that the Vatican uses, which we're going to talk about today. So it's going to be a long video, so I hope you guys stick around. So throwing Lopes and 3 others out of the windows, finally coming to a rest in a ditch at the side of the road. Lopes died instantly of neck injuries and severe head trauma and was the only person fatally injured in the accident. She was 30 years old. That's another code, but you guys will understand as we get into the video properly. It says a cameraman in the front passenger seat was videotaping at the time. So this is very, very convenient. All right. So that's what I wanted you guys to take notice of how, you know, events are shaped up or set up to make you believe it, to make it believable. It's very, very convenient at that point in time that a cameraman in the front passenger seat. Now, they said there were 3 people in the car besides Lopes. So who was the cameraman? Was the cameraman amongst the 3 people that were in the car with Lisa Lopes? Or from, they didn't say specifically from which car the person was videotaping from, because they didn't say it was the car that Lisa Lopes was in. Was it a different car? We don't know. But it's very, very convenient that at that point in time, somebody just took out a camera and started filming. Okay. A cameraman in the front passenger seat was videotaping, so the last seconds leading up to the swerve that resulted in the fatal accident were recorded on video. How convenient. So let's just talk about this in real life. Do we always get our cameras out everywhere we go and just start making videos or just start shooting random people? I mean, because if you're going out or walking on the street you have a destination. Do you see people walking around with a lot of cameras sticking out of from their pockets and just holding up in the air and just videotaping stuff around? I bet you don't see that. So it says her sister, Raindrop Lopes, was in the vehicle and survived the collision. So that means what they're saying is that I'm not sure what they're actually saying here. I don't know if they said she was the only one that died and 3 others were fine, including the Raindrop Lopes sister here, Lisa Lopes, and then the cameraman. I don't know who the cameraman was, but I wanted you guys to take a good notice of this. Now, what I want you to bear in mind, what I'm trying to show you is that, first of all, one, that it's too convenient that this was taped while Lisa Lopes' vehicle was swerving and having a collision, right? The next thing I want you to notice, because we're going to talk about this later on in the video, is that it says here, Lopes and 3 others out of the windows. So I want you to take note of those words 3. All right, Lopes and 3 others. Now, I want you also to take note of the age of Lisa Lopes when she died. It said she was 30 years old. 3 over there and 30 years old. Sounds to me like it's a Vatican code of deception, which I'm going to open your minds to understand the code today. So let's move on. So here is a picture of Lisa Lopes, and I want you guys to take a good look at this picture. If you're an old sub, you should know there's something wrong with this picture already, and you can spot it out. But if you're new and you cannot, I want you to take a good look at this picture and tell me what is wrong with the picture. I'm going to try to blow it up as much as I can so you see what I'm saying. I want you to take a good look at Lisa Lopes' left eye, and what do you see right here? Lisa Lopes, the back is straight. It's my back. There is no arch in this back. It's a straight back all the way down, showing you that Lisa Lopes was born male. Well, stick around because, like I said, the way we make videos has changed, so you will know when the trial investigation starts or ends. You have to sit through the whole video because the channel is only dedicated to people who are interested in the truth. So let's move on a little bit. So this is a story I thought that you guys should be worthy news that you should take a look at and see how the Vatican tries to deceive us and make transgender fake females to be the subject of attention in the news. Now, this news happened to appear on Yahoo, so you can pause the video at any point in time and copy out that link right over there and go read it. The news says that L'Oreal abruptly ends partnership with its first trans model. This article was on on September 1st, 2017. And this is the transgender model that L'Oreal abruptly ends partnership with. Now, the question I want to let you guys know is that L'Oreal is a very, so I'm trying to show you the tricks of the trade here, the tricks of the S trade, the deception trade. So you have to understand that L'Oreal ends its partnership with several companies, several people, several organizations and constituents, but you don't get them to, you don't hear about them on the news. Now, why is this one so particular that L'Oreal has to put up this news to tell you that they ended their partnership with the first trans model that they had, like if that's even true in the first case? Because I'm sure that L'Oreal, which is owned by the Vatican as well, it's a proxy. They all own everything by proxies. They've been featuring a lot of trans models over the years, but people were not just aware of it. But for this particular one, they want to make it sound, like this is the first trans model that they featured. Now, the news is not about, the trans model. So let me show you how this thing works so you can understand the deception behind it. So let's say, for example, that you're in trouble. I'm giving you a story. You're in trouble and you need a way out. And someone offers to help you out of this trouble. And this person is a thief. The person tells you, oh, look, man, I do a lot of stealing. I'm a thief. I'm a professional thief. I know how to do this game. And this person tells you, I'm going to help you out. because you are in a desperate situation, you're gonna accept the fact that you're dealing with a thief. You're gonna accept his personality for the time period that he's gonna offer to help you. So automatically you have accepted the personality and the person of a thief because you need help. So this is the story right here. I'm trying to tell you the story, or try to relate the story to this L'Oreal news that you're seeing right here. So this is what's happening, because you're gonna find out what the reason why L'Oreal had to end this partnership. I'm gonna scroll into the document, into the web page to show you that. So here is the reason why this trans model, or why L'Oreal ended. This is what they say was the reason for ending this partnership with this trans model. I'm trying to blow up the screen so I can read it so you guys can say. It says, here, today L'Oreal announced that it's parting ways with Monroe Bergdorf. That's the name of the transgender model. Just days after revealing its historic partnership with the trans model. The news comes after Bergdorf allegedly wrote, "Honestly, I don't have energy to talk about the racial violence of white people anymore." Yes, all white people. Because most of all, y'all don't even realize or refuse to acknowledge that your existence, privilege, and success as a race is built on the backs, blood, and death of people of color, in a now-deleted Facebook post, according to the people. Now, here is where the deception comes in. So, this transgender model, the Vatican is trying to make this transgender model like a social activist for racial violence against black people. So do you see how these people play mind games? Because if you've watched the Myth of Whiteness series, I have explained before that the Vatican is the one behind racism, and it's there for a purpose, to make them to have a population that they can lay claim and legally lay claim to ruling this world. Because without the population, if you don't have a population that looks like you and you rule the world, sooner or later you're going to get kicked out or exterminated. That's just fact. So you have to breed people who look like you. You need to watch the Myth of Whiteness series. Look for the playlist on this channel, and then I've talked about that exhaustively, so you can understand what I'm saying. So now here is the deception in this particular story. Now this transgender model has been set up. All right. Now, this is where it's going to set up to be, let's say, an activist for racial problems in the Americas or the world in general. So now here's what happens. This is how the Vatican sucks you in. Because if, for example, you are somebody who's gone through racial discrimination, and this transgender model is talking on behalf of you, what you're automatically gonna do is that you're gonna accept the person of a transgender, all right, to talk about your problems or try to mediate for you. So indirectly, you're gonna accept a transgender as the norm, because you think that it's talking or doing good for you, for the people who have suffered under racial discrimination. Can you see the deception right there? They're making you accept a transgender because they say it's doing something good. So a lot of people are going to stand up to this and say, oh, she got fired because she was black and she was talking about black people. You've been sucked into a deception, because now you're accepting a transgender. Somebody who has mutilated or has gone through mutilation as the standard of truth, as the standard of feature, or the voice, or your voice in fighting a problem that's happening. That is the reason why this is set up. So you guys have to understand that when you watch the news or listen to the news, you should never, ever believe anything they're telling you, because there's always an angle. The angle right here is not about L'Oreal abruptly ending its partnership with the first trans model. It's indirectly trying to feed you a transgender for you to accept a transgender as an activist in your community. So right now, when you accept a transgender, you're going to be laying down, you're going to be getting rid of your morals all right, and laws that men can become women, you're going to be saying women can become men, and that's normal. That's the idea behind this. So don't get caught up in the tricks of the trade. So let's move on. So here we're on this. We're still back on the subject of transvestigation. As usual, what I want you guys to notice, this is Lisa Lopes. What's the name of this lady? I kind of forget. Kellis. Is it Kellis? Let me make sure that this is Kellis, because I don't want to say anything wrong. Okay, so I was right. The singer's name is Kellis. Now, this is why I tell people that you can make role models of anybody you see on TV. All right, because Kelly's right here knows that Lisa Lopes is a transgender. Now, I want you to notice the physical differences between a man and a woman right here. Now, this is a clear and very good example. So what you guys have to notice is this. Look at Kelly's right here. Kelly's has an arch in her back, and look where her hands are at. Her hands are above her belly button, because that's where the female waist location is at. That's Kelly's belly button right there. And as you can see, her hands, sorry to say, are above it, because Kelly's is trying to put her hands at the resting point where a female's waist is at, because usually if you're male or female and you're trying to rest your hands, you find where your waist is at and you put your hands there, because that's where your waist is. It's comfortable right there. Okay, so now if you notice, Kelly's has an arch in her back because she's female, and as you can see, as she's spreading down right there, this is a crotch right there, and the widest point and that hip location is below the crotch, and as you can see, she has a very acute Q angle showing you that she's female. Now looking at Lisa Lopes to the right, what do you guys notice? Where is Lisa Lopes' hands at? Lisa Lopes' hands is at her waist, because this is where I would put my hands on my waist, because I'm a man. Look at where the resting point is, and look at how straight the back is. Remember the shape of the back that I told you for a man is going to be shaped like a D or a P, and in this case what you're seeing is a P shape. All right, and see where Lisa Lopes' hands is at, showing you that Lisa Lopes is male and Kelly's is female. But Kelly's never told you guys that, did she? Because she would know that this is a weird shaped woman. This can't just be a woman. They all know that. When you're up close and personal with these people, you're going to tell right on dead spot. Through the makeup and through all the nonsense and the BS they put up, you're going to know that this is a dude. Okay? So let's move on. So it's tranny news again, transgender news. And then today, this is another stuff that I did see. Let me see. Hold on a second right here. Oh, hold on. I'm moving all over the place. So this particular news happened to be on September 9th, 2017, and it's on Yahoo. Here it says you can pause the video at any point in time and just copy out that link right there and go read up on it. It says transgender and plus size models make this fashion's most diverse runway ever. Sorry to say. So you can see how these people are trying to force down your throat that you have to accept transgender, because they don't want to show you all the evils that they're doing behind. So they want to make you forcefully accept stuff like homosexuality and being a transgender as the norm. So if you look at this particular page right here, it says this is a story that happened at New York Fashion Week. Okay, if you notice this transgender right here, whose name is Lena Bloom. They say models led by a transgender is leading the pack. Wow. It says, so they're trying to relegate real people or real genders to the foreground. If you make a transgender come out as the first model in your fashion show, what are you promoting? You're promoting the fact that people can be anything they claim. They don't have to be the gender that they were born with. They're trying to change the normal. All right, the normal standard, the normal things that things are in this world. All right, so it says models led by transgender model Lena Bloom walked the runway for the Chromat Spring Summer 2018 show during New York Fashion Week. Now, as you can notice already that this is a transgender, just looking at that screen, you can see the real female hips that are behind him, and look at the fake female hips that is in front. As you can notice right there, the widest point on this so-called fake female right here is still above the crotch. If you scroll down further into the the web page, you can see that's the crotch right there, and the widest point is above it. That's where the Q angle for everybody starts, where your hip joint is, and the Q angle is the angle between the hip and the knee. So this is where this man's hip is at, and that's the knee. The Q angle, as you can see, it's above the crotch because this is male. They can't change the skeletal structure. So no matter the fake slap on breast that this thing has on here and trying to look feminine walking, you can still see the back is still straight. There is no hourglass figure because this is a dude always. So you guys can spot this thing really quick. That's why I'm telling you, you can trust in the organizations of trust that the Vatican wants you to believe. Your so-called great organizations, your banks, your government, the so-called organizations of structure that try to put structure in this world, they are all frauds. It doesn't matter. Okay, as you can see, this is still a man. Hips are still above the crotch. So you can pause the video at any point in time and go look up on this particular web page and read about it. I'm going to show you some more pictures from that just to show you that this is a dude. Once a dude, always a dude. Still straight. And look at the female behind him. Look at how curvy that female, and look at where the Q angle of that female starts. Just by looking, I can know that that is below the crotch and that is a woman. With this man right here, you can see the widest point is above it. Let me see if I could find another picture. This is pictures of real women. Let me go back. Let me see if I can. Oh, my mouse got stuck, so hold on. Well, I couldn't find any more pictures. This is a real woman, New York Fashion Week. She's been relegated to the background. This is another real woman as well. And just this fake woman right here in Lane of Bloom or whatsoever. It's just some news I wanted you guys to notice. So let's move on. Now, there's a web page I want you guys to go read up on so you can clearly understand that how the Vatican uses Jews to disguise the fact that there are the people behind who are running this world through proxies and through families that they've created. Now, this website is you can pause the video and copy out this website right here and go read up on it. I might try to maybe what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna leave the links in the description section of the videos on this particular website, so you can actually click on it and go read up on it. But as in the case when you're studying stuff, you have to understand that there is a lot of deception behind it, because even if something is actually true and there's true stuff out there, you always have to read with your minds open so you don't get caught up in what the Vatican might try to do, because the Vatican might put truth information out there, but it's containing lies. It's supposed to lead you in another direction. Now, the reason why I'm saying so is because on this particular video, on this particular webpage, you can see here it says reptilian dimension, a source for reptilian Jesuit conspiracy, Illuminati information. Now, if these guys are actually telling you the truth, all right, there's truth right here. They might try to pass in another lie of the saying reptilian dimension. There is no such thing as a reptilian dimension, because as I've explained before, the word reptilian actually comes from it was one of the synonyms for the word devil or Satan or Lucifer. So according to the Bible, because I've said before that the word interpreted serpent in the Bible is interpreted wrongly. The word there should have been serpentine, not serpent. The translators translated that wrongly. So it's led people to actually think that the devil is a snake. The devil was no snake. He was a man, a black man walking with 2 feet. All right. 2 feet, 2 hands, 2 eyes, nostril, ears, mouth, just like any human being that you would see. A black person. Okay, that is what the devil was. He was no snake. So what the Vatican or what these people will try to push to you is that they tell you some truth, but they also pass some disinformation on to you, so you can actually think, okay, reptilian, because whatever they're going to tell you in this webpage is going to be true to a certain degree. I would say 90% fact. But then they pass on this reptilian dimension that you see right here, so you can also believe in that. But because once you believe in this, then everything else that you believe down here is going to be false. So that's how deception works. Deception works by giving you some truth and putting in some lies. All right? Because you can be deceived when someone tells you a lie, because you're going to flat out know that this is a lie. But if someone tells you some truth and then adds some lies into it, you're most likely going to fall for it because of the truth. You're going to accept the lie. So when you study this, I want you to study with your minds open. Don't just believe everything that you see, and see if it makes logical and correct sense. All right. So he says here how the Jesuits used the Jews to disguise the fact that the Jesuits control and lead the New World Order and Illuminati. All right. So you can read up on it and scroll down. But what I wanted you guys to take notice of, because this is information that's very, very pertinent that you should understand. The subject that in particular that I wanted you to understand is because there's a lot going on about healthcare all over the world. It says here, healthcare control healthcare and you control the people. It's one of those point plan that the Vatican is using to control the world through healthcare. So now they've made it let's say a law that everybody has to have healthcare. There's a reason for it. All right. There's a very big reason for it. So you have to understand that the reason why all this was planned all along, because you have to understand that way back in time, people didn't go to a lot of hospitals. They had herbal and home remedies for whatsoever problems they had. Okay. But so in the Vatican trying to control the world, they had to make sure that if you can make health to be a pertinent need for everybody, because everybody wants to be healthy, that's a fact. If you can take control over that need, you can control people more. So they had to take control over health. And what they did was try to make people to trust less and less in their herbal home remedies and trust more in their manufactured drugs, which kill more people than save them. That's just fact. All these manufactured drugs is so toxic on your liver because it's not naturally made. It's made from chemicals, all right? A lot of them petroleum chemicals. And a lot of them, they've added so many other things because they want you to be sick. Like I said before, you can't control people who are strong in mind and in body. If you have a strong population that's strong in mind and in body, you can't control them. So they have to make you weak, sick, and diseased for you to be able to be controlled. So a lot of these drugs that you buy over the counter or whatever, they're very, very toxic. Toxic on your kidney, toxic on your liver, toxic on your whole entire system. So the Vatican had to make people stop believing, all right, in a lot of the herbal home remedies and seek rather manufactured drugs. And it's just one of the ways that the Vatican controls the world, because there are certain businesses that the Vatican, if you're trying to spot someone who's working for the Vatican, let me tell you a simple trick. You have to start, you have to look at the industries that the Vatican needs to control the world. So one of the basic industries that the Vatican needs is the agricultural industry. They control the whole entire food supply of the world in every nation. So if you're trying to find an agent who's working for the Vatican, someone you can hold and say, I know this is an agent. When you get into the agricultural industry, all those heads of departments or the head and owners of those industry are directly Vatican owned. So agriculture is one place. The next place that you have to look at is the transportation sector. All right. If you want to know somebody who's a direct honcho for the Vatican, look at the transportation sector, because you have to understand that with agriculture needs transportation. All right. So they can't just let the transportation sector just fall into anybody. They can have like retailers for it, but the main structure lines that control transportation, which happen to be your rail system, your shipping system, your airlines, all right, or your organizations like, let's say, UPS, USPS, FedEx, and all those great companies. Those, if you want to find out the people that you can hold accountable, know these people are agents and working for the Vatican, they're Vatican owned. Transportation sector, agriculture, transportation, because you need to eat, and when you need to eat, you need to feed. All right. Then the next thing that you have to look at, the next set of sector that you have to study to actually, if you want to know who are the real people behind it, that you can lay your hands on and say, I know you're working for the Vatican. The next sector that you should look into is the power sector, because transportation means power. Power may be power through maybe electrical power, power through fossil fuels, or whatever the case might be. So you look for the people who are in the power sections, all right? The people who control power, the delivery and distribution of power. So when you start looking at all those great oil companies or companies that produce anything that's related to power, then you can actually spot your Vatican agents, all right? Now, when you're done with power, then the most important of all is looking at how the banking sectors, all right? Because the people who control the money is the Vatican, because everything else that's being done is going to be controlled through the money system, as I'm going to show you in a second, because we're diving in deeply into trying to show you the Vatican code of deception from henceforth now. So when you look at that particular sector, all right, you're going to find out that the head of banks, the Federal Reserve, or any monetary system in this world, those heads, the people who are responsible for the influx or input of currency, which is used for all these transactions, you can actually spot your direct Vatican Jesuits, the people who work for the Vatican. That's how you spot. So those are some of those important parts of the economy that you have to look at if you're trying to hold and see for real the people who are making decisions that affect your life, which the Vatican uses, because they do all these things behind closed doors, all right? They don't write it in books or anything else. Is behind closed doors. So I'm going to show you how that is done and today. So and that's it. And then before I go, I wanted to show you something very, very particular. Let me see if I'm clicking on the right link right there. Just hold on a second and I'll show you that. So what I wanted to show you was the medical symbol. So you can actually know that the Vatican is deeply behind this, all right? I talked about the fact that if they control that, healthcare is there for a reason. So you can suck people into being controlled and doing whatsoever you want them to do. Now, the medical symbol, as you can see here, are two snakes with an eagle wings and a staff in between. And you can clearly see right there that this is a Vatican, that the medical association is Vatican made because of this symbology right here. So that is what I wanted you guys to take notice of, the medical symbology, to show you that this can be something that's good if you have two snakes, because you have to understand that snakes are actually a symbol of the devil. It's not the devil, but it's just a symbology of it. All right. And you can see they have two snakes, two wings, and some sort of stuff inside their rod. This doesn't look good. So you should not. What I'm trying to say at the end of the day is that if you want to be healthy, you have to try to seek natural home remedies much more, because there is a lot of stuff, a lot of good food out there that can cure a lot of diseases. For example, asparagus is a very important plant that you should not toy or play with. It's very, very good for you. I've read about it that asparagus can be used to cure cancer and AIDS. So it's just information that I just think that people should have out there, because the Medical Association of the world knows this, but they'll never tell you that asparagus can be used to cure cancer and AIDS, which I also believe can be a fake disease as well. I haven't actually done the study of it, but I know that it helps you to have the immunity such that you don't have cancer. That's the right way to put it. It helps you to have immunity such that you don't have any genetic defect or deficiency in cancer or AIDS, as the case might be. So asparagus is very, very healthy. So there is a lot of herbal and home remedies out there that you should try, which is very, very good for you, because at the end of the day, herbal and home remedies are actually food. They are nutritions, all right? So your body will just naturally digest them, and just it won't be any impactful on your system. But these drugs that the Vatican tries to make you take in its hospitals is very, very sickening, okay? So that's just what I wanted you guys to take notice of. So let's move on. So here is a picture of when Lisa Lopes died, and they were trying to make an honorary out of him. I'm just gonna put it, say it right, because by the time we end, we're almost halfway done to with the transvestigation. You're actually gonna find out that Lisa Lopes is actually a dude. So this was when they were trying to put something together in honor of him as someone who died. And you can see all these fake deceivers that you guys trust and love good music and listen to. Usher Raymond right here, Chili, what's this guy's name, Jermaine Dupri. I don't know who this lady is. I don't know who this black lady is. And this is T-Boss and some other people, and they say this is the supposed mother of Lisa Lopes. So it's just a picture. I just wanted you guys to notice that you can trust any of these people. They are lying deceivers. They are all not worshiping the God you think. It doesn't matter how much you like them, right? I used to be a fan of Usher. I'm not gonna lie about it. I used to be a fan of Usher, but I can't trust this fool down here because they are all lies and deceivers, because they should have told you right from the get-go, Jermaine Dupri, right here, T-Boss, and whoever these people are, that Lisa Lopes was a dude, but they never did. Another picture. Here's Lisa Lopes right here, and as you can see right there, look at that. Straight back, shaped like a P, straight into the pelvis, because this is a dude. It's been lying to you for a long time. Lisa Lopes of TLC is a dude. Another picture. Lisa Lopes again, and you can't deny the straightness of that back. Look at that, straight into the pelvis, because this is a dude. Lisa Lopes is a man. Straight back of a man, because that's my back. Another picture. Lisa Lopes again, as you can see, straight back into the pelvis with fake makeup and long hair, as transgenders usually do, because some transgenders do put on short hair, but they have to put on a lot of heavy makeup for that. They use the long hair to cover up all the facts that they are not the gender that claim that they are dudes. And here's another picture. Can you see that? How straight that back is? Straight into the pelvis. There's no denying that. You're looking at the straight back of a dude. Do not be deceived anymore. Lisa Lopes of TLC was a dude. Let's move on. So I made a promise sometime that I'm going to be sharing some real signs from the Bible, some logical stuff that makes a lot of sense, because people don't understand the logic that's in the Bible because of the indoctrination that they've suffered from the Vatican through its many pastors and indoctrination centers called churches. Now, I'm reading from the book of Genesis. I'm reading from verse 17, and there is something that I want you guys to notice, because people think that circumcision, a lot of people think that circumcision is just not necessary. It's just something that you should do, or it's not really of any benefit. Now, I'm going to show you the science behind circumcision today. It's just one of those things that I'm trying to do on each and every video, is to share some real science from the Bible. Okay, so I'm reading from Genesis chapter number 17. You can go look up your Bible as well. I'm reading from verse 8. And this is God talking to Abraham. And he says, "And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God. And God said unto Abraham, Thou shalt keep my covenant you shall keep my covenant therefore thou and thy seed after thee in their generations. This is my covenant which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man shall among you shall be circumcised, and you shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you. And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man child in your generations, he that is born in the house or bought with the money of any stranger which is not of thy seed." So now the question is this: why did God have to make Abraham circumcised? So if you read into this portion of the Bible, all right, you actually see the need. So, and this is part of it, okay? It says, "I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God." All right. So God wanted to give Abraham the land of Canaan, but Abraham was a single man. And if you have to take possession of such a large land, you have to have enough people to take over it. So God wanted to increase Abraham. So prior to this point in time in history, circumcision was not practiced by people. Okay, I want you guys to take notice of that. So now God says, I want to increase Abraham. So Abraham, you have to circumcise yourself to me. So now people don't know the benefits of circumcision. So you have to understand this. When the Israelites were in Egypt, they increased more than the Egyptians. Why was that possible? Because there's a science in circumcision. Okay? And here's the science. So circumcision, I'm going to talk a little bit about, is sexual intercourse in this. When a man is circumcised, all right, the skin is cut off. The foreskin of the man's genital is cut off. When that happens, when a man has intercourse with a woman, he's able to pass as much semen as possible, increasing the chances of pregnancy. But when you're not circumcised, what happens is you can't pass so much semen to increase the chances of pregnancy, because the foreskin that's on a man's genitals is going to take and carry much of the semen outside instead of inside, into making into a woman, giving her the ability and chances of being pregnant. So that's the reason why we have so much population growth today, because there's a science behind circumcision, because there are more and more people getting circumcised. Cutting that foreskin off gives the ability of more semen or more sperm finding an egg to get fertilized. So the reason for the growth population that we have in the world today as it's exploding is because more people get circumcised, which is a science, a real science from God himself. So that's the reason why the children of Israel were able to increase much more in Egypt and in Israel more than the nations around them, because prior to this time, nobody was getting circumcised. When the children of Israel did so, they were able to get their women much more pregnant quickly, bearing more children than any other nation around them. So the nations that increased as well with the nation of Israel was those nations that Abraham, who gave birth to, were also circumcised as well. Okay, so for example, Edom and the rest of the other children that he had were able to increase much more, just like the children of Israel, because their males were getting circumcised. So that's just what I wanted to show you, a little bit of science from the Bible. So let's move on. So we have arrived at the point in which I start talking about the Vatican Code of Deception. There is a code of numbers that the Vatican uses to identify itself. Now, I'm going to read that part of the code, and somebody is going to be looking and say, why do we have a calculator on here? Don't worry, you're going to understand in a minute. But to start this part, I'm going to read something from the Bible so you can actually understand where we're going with this, all right? So let's go to the Bible. The reason, before I go into the Bible, the reason why I have to show you is because, like I said, I'm trying to make a deliberate attempt to share a real science that's from the Bible, something that you can relate to, that you can actually see that it actually works. And I'm going to show you fake science that the Vatican pulls up and tries to confuse people with, because like I've said before, real science, which comes from God Almighty, is always going to point you to God, to an intelligent creator in God Almighty of the Geneva or King James Bible. And fake science is always going to lead you away and make you believe that we just happen by happenstance, which we all know that nothing happens by happenstance. Everything has to be planned or organized, or God is behind the one organizing the events around you to lead you a certain way, or the devil could be the one organizing events around you to lead you a certain way. That's just the way it works, okay? So I'm going to show you the fake signs in the Vatican Code of Deception that you guys should take notice of, because the Bible is actually very, very true and very, very real. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Bible to show you the code inside which the Bible lets us know, and how the Vatican applies this to whatever it's doing to shape and mold your world. So let's go. Now, whatever I'm going to do right here, it's going to blow your mind. You're going to start thinking I can't make this up. Whatever I'm gonna say from now here henceforth, I can't make this up. I really can't. You guys would be blown by what's going on. You're gonna know that there is actually an intelligent design even in the Bible. Okay, so you can pause the video at any point in time and copy out that link. That is from the Geneva Bible. I'm going to read something that is a very, very particular. Now, the Geneva Bible here starts from, I'm reading from Revelation chapter number 13, all right? And 13 here, chapter number 13, and I'm reading from verse 16 right there, all right? There is a Vatican code of deception that's right there in that line. It's no coincidence that this particular portion of the Bible had to be in chapter number 13 and verse number 16. I want you to take note of those numbers, 1:3 and 1:6. Okay? And I'm reading, it says, and he calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now, this is my thoughts, so I don't want anybody to say that that what I'm saying is true. I don't want anybody to question me. All right, this is my thoughts. I don't say I'm telling the truth. This is just my opinion on what I'm saying at this particular point in time from henceforth. So anything I'm saying from here on, even though I'm going to show you some certain facts that you should look at, are my thoughts. Okay, I don't want nobody questioning me and saying I said it as a fact. Please remember that. Okay? Now, let's get into this. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now, people always ask, because when you're trying to find out what this mark is, because people call it the mark of the beast. And I've said before, when you say mark of the beast, that is actually a wrong rendering. It should be the mark of the kingdom. Because if you have watched the No Need for Pastor series playlist on this channel, I do explain that the Bible, when it talks about beast in the book of Revelations, is talking about a kingdom. And there are two codes to understanding the book of Revelation. I have supplied that before. I'm still going to supply that code right here before we move on. So let me supply the code first. So the first code happens to be in Daniel chapter number 7. And we're going to be reading from verse number 23. All right? I can't make this up, people. Chapter number 7, verse number 23. There is a code right there. You guys will understand that later on, as I keep saying. 2 3s, okay? Now, it says here, thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom. So that means a beast means a kingdom, all right? So when you read the book of Revelation and you hear or see the mark of the beast, or when people see the mark of the beast, so it doesn't sound so crazy and, weird to your ears. It actually means the mark of the kingdom, because the book of Daniel makes us understand that a beast means a kingdom. All right. And you can read further on. It will say here, and the 10 horns from verse number 24 says, and the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after that, and ye shall be diverse from the first, and ye shall subdue 3 kings. So a beast is a kingdom. So that's what I want you guys to notice. Now, another code in the book of Revelation, I'm not going to have the time to give you the chapter, but you can look up you can read up on the book of Ephesians, which will show you the code here. When you see in the book of Revelation, when it talks about a woman or a harlot, okay, in the book of Revelation, you probably read the story that a harlot or a woman, it means church. When you read the book of Ephesians, the code is in the book of Ephesians. So anytime you see a woman, or a mystery woman, or woman in, or harlot, because it can be woman or harlot in the book of Revelations, all you need to do is substitute church in there, and you get the right understanding of what you're reading. So those are the two codes for the book of Revelations. So let's get back to what we're trying to read here to show you the Vatican code of deception and what's going on. I was reading from Revelation chapter number 13 in the Geneva Bible, and I read from verse number 16, and it said, "And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads." Now, someone is gonna, this is my opinion, like I've said before, from henceforth, so I don't want people question me too much and saying I'm wrong or right. I'm just putting out my information. Whatever you make of it is up to you, because I'm not here to argue with anybody. I'm just providing information. Whatever you decide to make of it from this point is up to you. Okay, so some people always ask, okay, what is this mark of the kingdom? Because I'm putting it right, gonna be. And in my own understanding, I believe that it's gonna be a computer chip. Now, someone's going to say, okay, why do you think it's going to be a computer chip? Well, based on the Bible, I know it's going to be a computer chip, based on what I've read and I've understood, because this computer chip is not just going to be an ordinary chip, as we've seen. Maybe you've watched the news and you've seen that there is a chip that people can wear that opens doors for them and does kind of things. And some people say it's going to be carrying your bank account information and all of that. Well, that could be true to a certain point. But what I think this computer chip or mark of the kingdom that's going to come in the future, if it's not here right now, is going to be a chip that's going to control all human responses and the central nervous system. So, for example, we have watches today, like Apple watches and some certain watches that can measure your heartbeat, or like a pacemaker that you can put on, and it shows how your heartbeat is working. It can send some information to the doctors. This is something that's going to be more advanced at that. It's still going to incorporate all of that, but it's going to be able to shut down your central nervous system, shut down your motor skills, shut down how you your speech, shut down everything else around you. That's what this computer chip is going to be doing. In effect, this computer chip is going to be able to control you. So that means your government is going to be able to send information to that computer chip, and it's going to be able to control your responses, control the way you look at things, and control how you answer stuff. I mean, just have total control over your central nervous system, which is necessary for voluntary action. So that's what I think, and I'm going to show you why I think that is. So I'm going to move on to reading another portion of the Bible for you to see what I mean. Now, I'm going to be reading from Revelations chapter 9 to make you understand why I think it's going to be a control chip that controls the central nervous system of all human beings who accept that chip into their arms. They're not going to be able to take it off or put it on their foreheads. They're going to be able to take it off. I'm reading from Revelations, the book of Revelations, to understand or to lay the foundation, or to give you the fact of why I think that will be the case. Okay, so I'm reading from Revelation chapter number 9 in the King James Bible or Geneva Bible, and I'm reading from verse number 2, and I want you guys to follow me, right? You can read the whole portion of Revelation chapter 9 by yourself, but just for pertinent information so you guys can see where I'm going. It says here, and from verse number 2 it says, "And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads." All right. So this particular portion of the Bible says that there is going to be the earth is going to be opened up. All right, and a smoke and locusts are going to come out of this pit in the earth, and it will be given them power to hurt men. They should not hurt the grass of the earth, all right, any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men who have not the seal of God on their foreheads. So that means these guys that power was given to by this locust to hurt means they had another seal. They had another identification on them, which would not be the identification of God, but that mark of the kingdom. I'm not saying mark of the beast, so people can actually understand. Mark of the kingdom. A kingdom is made of countries and kings. So mark of the kingdom. Okay, so it says, I'll read on. It says, and to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months, and their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. So these guys who receive the mark shall seek death, but they shall not be able to die. So that is another code for you to understand, that when you receive this mark, all right, seeking death here means this man is going to want to try to kill himself, but he can't. That's just what it's saying, all right? This man is going to try to kill himself because of all the torment that he wants to, but he can't. So what would stop a man from being able to kill himself if he can't, because of the torment that he's going through, is because he no longer controls his central nervous system. So that is what this chip is going to be able to do, to take away the right for you to be able to control yourself once you receive it. All right, this mark of the kingdom. All right, so it goes here. Let me read some other portions so you can understand where I'm going with this. Okay, so just to give you some more facts. So when you read on in the same chapter of the book of Revelation, I'm going to reading from verse number 18 this time, from still the chapter number 9 in the King James Bible or the Geneva Bible. It says, by these three was the third part of men killed by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of the mouth. So after the locusts, or the which looked like scorpions, were stinging and tormenting men, which had the mark on their foreheads, another mark of God. After that, there was another torment that came, but these ones actually slaughtered the people who had the mark of the kingdom in their hands or in their foreheads. And it says, by these three was the third part of men killed by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. For their power is in their mouth and in their tails, for their tails were like unto serpents and had heads, and with them they do hurt. And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues, yet repented not of the works of their hands. Now I don't want to read any further. I just want you guys to take notice of that. So I am thinking, if I'm a normal man and I see all these terrors and terrible things happening, I should be able, a normal thinking person, to say, oh man, you should try as much as possible to mediate with whosoever is your tormentor and say, please forgive me for whatsoever I've done. Don't torment me no more. Don't kill me no more. I'm a changed man. I'm going to change, because that is normal human behavior. If you've gone through so much torment, all right, you try to plead with your who's your tormentor, to say, please, can you make it stop? I'll do whatever you want to say. That's normal. So, but for these guys to go through all of this, all right, being tormented, being killed, and yet the Bible says they did not repent. Why? They did not repent. Why couldn't they repent? Because that mark of the kingdom that they receive is controlling their central nervous system. Is taking control over their whole physiology, that they, even through when going through the torment, will not accept God's salvation. They will choose not to repent from their wickedness. They will choose not to repent from all the terrible and evil things that they're doing, because that chip, that microchip that they will receive either in their hands or in their foreheads, is going to take control of their bodies and perception of life away from them. So that's why I say, without a shadow of a doubt, that I for sure know that it's going to be a chip that's going to be inserted into the human body, which will be the mark of the kingdom, or the mark of the beast as they say it, that's going to control the central nervous system of every individual who takes it, such that that person has no control over himself anymore, and will not be able to do anything voluntarily more, but will only be involuntary actions. Okay? So that's what I wanted to show you before I move on to still talking about what I wanted to say on the Vatican Code of Deception. So I read further. I'm still in the Geneva Bible now, Revelation chapter number 13. I was reading from verse 16, so I read further into number 17. It says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark of the name of the beast or the number of his name. That's 13, number 17, and then 13. Number 18, it says, here is wisdom. So here is where the Vatican Code of Deception starts. So I want you guys to take notice of that. Now remember, at the beginning of the video with Lisa Lopes, I had pointed out the fact that Lisa Lopes died at the age of 30. All right. I told you guys to remember also that she had 3 people in the car with her when she died. Supposedly, that's what we were told. Okay, so I want you guys to take note of that. Now it says, here it says, here is wisdom. I'm reading from verse 13. It says, let him that had understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. All right, 666. So that means 666. Now, here is where the Vatican Code of Deception starts. When they try, so before I go any further, I have to explain something. When the Vatican wants to shape your world, and they're trying to carry out certain events that's going to shape your world. Now, because they're doing all these things covertly, that means under the radar, because they don't want you to know, because if you know, you're never going to accept. If you know the truth about what's really going on, you're never going to accept what they say to you. So they have to do it covertly. Now, when you're doing things covertly, you can have documents laying around or water documents that you keep, because you never know who it's going to slip on into. So, for example, one of the documents that these guys use to run the world is called the Protocols of Zion. Now, Protocols of Zion didn't start out called the Protocols of Zion. It was, I think it was an article reading by somebody called, is it Bosch Fontaine, or Fontaine was the name. Then later on, when it got out in the open, all right, they changed the name to the Protocols of Zion, which is actually a Vatican script. Now, there are so many other documents that they've had out there which has exposed a lot of the activities of their plans. I think I have a video on some of them. You can actually watch the Serena Williams video and Venus Williams videos, and I explain some of those documents a little bit, if not too much in depth. But so these guys are doing things covertly. So in order for them to have muscle memory, because if you're trying to know that, because there are events that happen in the world, not on a massive scale, but certain events that happen in the world, which the Vatican has no control over, all right? So in order for them to be able to know which events are caused by them, which is going according to plan as they planned it, they have to plan it a certain way under the Vatican Code of Deception, which I'm going to start to show you right now. So let's move on to show you how this Vatican Code of Deception actually works with fake signs as well. So I'm on a web page, a wiki web page here that says the human genome. All right, you can pause the video, or you can just go type in human genome. All right, and you can and go to the wiki page and actually look at it. Now I'm on this web page. Okay, now you've probably heard the reason why I'm starting right here is because the basis of all life starts at conception. Conception, that means a child is being conceptualized in a mother's womb through the union of its father and its mother. All right. Now, the Vatican actually tells you, or the medical sciences, the medical science world actually tells you that it takes 23 chromosomes from a man and 23 chromosomes from a woman to actually form the 46 chromosomes that is necessary for. So I have to repeat that again. The Vatican tells you that it takes 23, or let's say the Medical Association of the World says this. They say that it takes 23 chromosomes from a man and 23 chromosomes from a woman to make 46 chromosomes, in which makes a human being. They have all this science down to the bone, and this is what they tell you, okay? Now, there is a Vatican code of deception in there, which I want you to notice of. Now, as you all know, the highest degree in Freemasonry is 33 degrees, 2 threes. And as you've read in the book of Revelation, which I read to you, it says that the number of the mark of the kingdom is 666. So I'm going to pull out a calculator to show you that. Now, I don't want you guys to read it much into gematria. This is just something you guys should take notice of. I'm not saying anybody should go down the long, winding, dark road of gematria, because God does not allow, doesn't want people reading into gematria, because he says it's demonic, okay? I just want you to understand the code when you start trying to distinguish between lies and fiction, which the Vatican tells you. So I'm going to show you that right now. So hold on a second. So here is a calculator I just pulled up. Now, the number 666 right here, I want you guys to take a good look at this. Now, 666 is made, if you divide 666 by 2, okay? I'll divide it by 2. You have 333, okay? So that means that the what I would say, the basic foundation for having a 6 is a 3. You have to have 2 3s, okay? So 2 3s make a 6. Does it make sense? So if I say multiply by 2 right here, as you can see right there, 333 multiplied by 2 will give you 666. So that means the basis for this 666 is 3s. Okay? So when the Vatican is trying to tell or trying to construct events, because they're involved in demonology, and when they're trying to construct fake science means that they don't have any answer. In order for them to make you think that they have an answer, they have to tell you a lie. And whenever they try to tell you a lie or something they can easily remember whenever they are called upon, they impute these numbers into that lie. So for example, right here, it is of particular that they say that DNA has 23 chromosomes. Now, I usually always talk about this, but because I've talked about it before on the video on Caroline Cozy, which I talked about a case of Klinefelter syndrome. Now, I talked about the fact of chromosomes having that there are 23 chromosomes from a man, and they say that a Klinefelter person who has 47 chromosomes, and I asked the question, where did they get the one extra chromosome from if we have only 23 from the man and 23 from the woman to make a person? So the reason why I'm saying all this is because I try to make people understand what they can understand with the false information that's around them. But I do know for a fact that these guys don't know anything about what makes life possible. They don't know it. So someone's going to say, okay, how come they can be able to distinguish between, let's say, for example, if they're trying to in vitro fertilize a child into this world, how can they be able to choose the DNA traits or traits that make one male and one female? It's very, very simple. Now, if you take a semen, right, and study it under a microscope, you're gonna find out there are 2 types of sperms, all right, 2 types of sperm or spermatozoa that's inside the semen. One's gonna be moving very quickly, and one's gonna be moving very slowly. Now, these guys have studied to know that the male sperm that carries the male traits, all right, or male traits or the XY traits of a man, is always going to be bigger, it's always going to swim faster, and it's also going to die quickly. So when they take the semen and they look at the sperm, if they're trying to in vitro fertilize an egg to say that it comes out a man, they pick out the sperm that's moving so quickly, stronger, and it's bigger. That means that is the male trait. Now, the sperm that carries the female traits that makes a woman possible is always going to be slower and is always going to live longer. So that goes to show you naturally that biologically that women live longer than men. They might be a little bit slower, but they are the biologically superior of a species. So that's how they can distinguish and say, okay, I wanna in vitro fertilize a man. So they pick out the sperm that's bigger, swimming so faster, stronger. They put that in, and they have a man. They take out the sperm that's moving slower, it's smaller, but lasts longer, and they in vitro fertilize an egg and say that's a female. That's how they know it. But the stuff when they talk about chromosome, that it takes 23 chromosomes to make a human being, 46 in total from a man and a woman, it's all false science. There's no such thing. Why? Because having studied the Vatican's code of deception, you tend to see that these numbers keep popping up, multiples of 3. So when they say 23 chromosomes here, it doesn't mean 23. It means 2 3s. So this number always comes up when the Vatican code of deception is starting to work lies. You're going to see multiples of this number 3 come up, which I'm going to show you. So hang on around. So I go to one because yesterday was 9/11, which was the day that the World Trade Center, about a few years ago, the World Trade Center came down and started the fake global war on terrorism, which the Vatican owns and control. You have to understand that all global terrorist acts in this world are Vatican owned and control, because you have to understand that they control the world through fear. Because if you're afraid of something, you can be controlled by it. You're going to be acting and reacting according to what you fear. So if you're afraid of terrorism, they can make so many laws and you are going to accept it because you want to be safe. Does it make sense? They're controlling you through fear. Fear, insurance is a form of fear. Everything that's going on around you is a form of fear. Fear is being used to control you. So once you stop being afraid, then you can't be controlled any further. So on September 11, now I want you to see the code. So I can't make this up. I want you guys to start noticing this. September 11 has the number 9. It's a multiple of 3, which means 9 is 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3, right? 3 times multiplied. You have to understand that, people have to understand this, that multiplication is just additions. That's all what it is. You're just adding things in multiples, all right? So 3 multiplied by 3 is 9. Now, Tuesday, remember, the September 11 attack happened on a Tuesday, all right? Tuesday is what day under the Roman or Gregorian calendar? It's the 3rd day of the week, because under the Gregorian calendar that we use, Sunday is the first day, sorry to say. Sunday is the first day, Monday is the second day, and Tuesday is the 3rd day. All right? You still see the code now? 3 in there, a multiple for 6. So if you look at September 9, right, or November 9, September 11 attacks, it was 9/11, 2001. 2001. Let me just clear this out so you guys can actually see this. 2001. Do you see the code in 2001? You have a 3. So somebody might say, okay, but I see a 3, but how about the day 11? 11 there just means the 2 towers. It's just symbology for the 2 towers. 9/11. All right? September, a multiple of 3. I mean, let me try to see if I can write this down so you can actually see. 9/11 2001. So 9 was the month, a multiplier of 3. 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3, 11. Code, write the symbology for the Vatican. 11 just was symbology for the Twin Towers. 2 and 1, 3. Can you see that? Okay, let's move on to show you some other Vatican codes of deception and lies. So I'm on a web page here. It says you can pause the video link and actually copy out that link and go look it up. It says, how far away is the sun? And it says here the sun is an average distance of about 93 miles, 93 million miles. Now, the Vatican doesn't know how far the sun is away from you because they don't even know how to get to it or how to measure it because they can't do it. All right? So in order to tell you a lie about your world so that you can believe it, they say the sun is an average distance of 93 million miles. Can you see the code in here again? The code, a multiple of 3, right? 9 is a multiple of 3. And there is 3 already here. So that means this is a lie. So when you're starting to look at the news and study things, you're going to start seeing these codes. It's going to come in various forms, but they're always going to be multiples of 3. I want you to notice that. Whether they're added up or multiplied or whatever the case might be, it's always going to be a multiple of 3, showing you that this is a lie. Remember they said 23 chromosomes, 2 3s. Now this one they say 9 3s. Does it make sense? Multiple of 3s. Let's go on further, show you another Vatican code of deception. And here we are on what the Vatican tells you is the distance of the moon from the earth. Can you see the code in here? It says the distance of the moon from the earth is 238,900 miles. Can you see the Vatican code of deception here? 2 3s. 23. The same as the number they said that the chromosomes have in a human body, or what sperm carries it to make a human, which is also a lie. 2 3s. Multiple of 3s. Can you start seeing the symbology of the Vatican code of deception? Stick around. I have some more. I can't make this up. Just stick around. So here is another symbology to show you that your world, the Vatican has been telling you so many lies. I'm putting in the code in there, but you guys don't see it because they have no answers for you. Now, it says here, Wikipedia page, you can actually look for the axial tilt of the Earth. According to the Vatican fake science, they say that the Earth is tilted at an axis while rotating around the sun. That is rotating on its axis at a certain degree. Now, what you notice here, they said Earth currently has an axial tilt of about 23.4 degrees. Is that a coincidence? That the same number that they say that the chromosomal DNA has in a human being to make humans possible is 23. And all of a sudden the axial tilt of the Earth is 23 also 0.4. You think this is true? That's a Vatican code for a lie, because there is no such thing as an axial tilt. The Earth is flat. It does not move. It's immovable. We're under a dome. They don't know how to get to the moon. They don't know the distance from the sun to the earth. None of that is true. That's why they keep on putting these codes of deception all around. The axial tilt of the earth is 23. 23, that just means 2 3s. It doesn't mean 23s. 2 3s. When you have 2 3s, what does it turn into? A 6. You're going to see much more codes. So let's move on. Now, this is the code I just wanted to show you so that you guys can understand when you hear the news and know when the Vatican is deliberately lying to you. Now, this is a story about Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. This was when Hillary Clinton was running for the presidential election. And they had a case of FBI telling him that Hillary Clinton had emails in her server which were not supposed to be there, government emails. That means that she's not trustworthy they were just trying to make that whole news about Hillary Clinton, that she's not really trustworthy to run for the presidential office. But all that is just make-believe. It's propaganda. It's lies which the Vatican makes you believe. They try to make you believe that you actually have a position in your government when everybody is working for the Vatican. They all put on some sort of drama show, like Hillary Clinton is going to be fighting Trump, or Trump is fighting Obama and all that. That's all nonsense. They're all working together. The show is for you guys, so that you can actually believe there is opposition. Because if you don't believe there is opposition, then you're going to know that somebody is actually controlling all things. Does it make sense? It's going to show that the Vatican controls you. If there is no opposition, it would clearly point to the Vatican, to the one who's controlled. So they have to make you believe that there is opposition, all right? You have to make you believe that, let's say Walmart is different from Target. Or they have to make you believe that Bank of America is different from Chase Bank and Wells Fargo and all that belief. So you do not know that someone is controlling everything, that you have basically no control, that they're just sucking you in, all right? Just to make you believe in all that opposition until they can sew everything up, that sew everything up into the new world order, all right? So that's all what it is. So this news was about FBI finding, they say they found holes in Hillary Clinton's email defense. And I want to show you the code so you can actually see that this was all propaganda. It was all a lie. So let's scroll down. You can actually pause the video, copy out the link right there, and go read up on it. But let's just scroll down into this web page for you to show you the code in there. It says here, as I scroll down, it says that FBI investigators reviewed the 30,000 emails. Can you see the code in there again? 3, multiple of 3. 30,000 emails. Why wasn't it 30,001? Why is it 3? Why is that number in there? Because it's a lie. This story never happened. It was manufactured for you to believe, all right, that there is opposition in your government. A story to suck you in so you don't see that every U.S. president has been handpicked, that there is no such thing as a presidential election, but handpicked puppets of the Vatican in office. I'll show you some more code so you can actually start seeing things. So when you watch your news and watch your TV screens, you can actually see the code and know the lies from the lies, because there are so many of them, but you actually spot the ones that is being manufactured specifically by the Vatican to shape your world. Let's go. So this next video, remember there was when Donald Trump won the election, there was this news story in which after the drama that they had put up and and made you to think that Hillary Clinton was going to win and everybody was against for Hillary Clinton. The media made you believe that nonsense story that Hillary Clinton was going to win when they had already picked Donald Trump right from the get-go. And then Obama just came out and he sounded very, very disappointed that Hillary Clinton did not win, so Hillary Clinton would continue his fake legacy of the Vatican on. And Obama now said, okay, that they spoke, even though Donald Trump won, which we didn't expect that was going to happen because we wanted Hillary Clinton to win. Nevertheless, I spoke with I spoke with Donald Trump at a certain time. He puts in the code there. He spoke with Donald Trump at 3:30 a.m. in the morning. 33, the Vatican Code. The Vatican Code for the highest degree of Freemasonry. The Vatican Code of deception that they use to paint and shape your world. He said it. So I'm going to play the video so you can actually listen. Then I'm going to point you to the link so you can actually go look it up yourself. And here we go. Here is the video. Oh, hold on. Let me play the video right.
Talked to President-elect Trump last night, about 3:30 in the morning, I think it was. I had a chance to talk to President-elect Trump last night, about 3:30 in the morning, I think it was. I had a chance to talk to President-elect Trump last night, about 3:30 in the morning, I think it was, to congratulate him on winning the election. I had a chance to talk to President-elect Trump last night, about 3:30 in the morning, I think it was, to congratulate him on winning the election. and I had a chance to invite him to come to the White House tomorrow to talk about making sure that there is a successful transition between our presidencies.
So I played it 4 times, so you guys could actually hear him say it over and over again that he called Donald Trump at 3:30 in the morning, showing you that call never happened. It's a fabrication, it's a lie. It's made for you to believe that there is opposition, but for the sake of the continuation of the United States of America and the Constitution, that we can work together. There is no such thing. The Vatican controls everything, and Obama is a Vatican puppet. So if you want to hear that or read or listen to the video properly again, you can actually copy the link right here and go read up on it. I'm going to try to leave a link of the description of this particular link, and I think what other link was I trying to leave? I'm going to try to leave 2 links in here for you guys to actually in the description section, so you can actually go look it up. Okay, so let's move on to some other code for you guys to see what's going on. Now, on this particular code, it's still showing you that the number symbology that the Vatican uses to lie to people. It talks about it's going to talk about the Jewish okay, people actually the lie of the Jews. This is just what it's about. Because the Vatican, the world makes you think that it's Jews who control the world, when it's not. It's the Vatican all along. So they make up these stories about Jews. For example, they say that the Jews came from a country called Khazaria, I think so, somewhere right in between the Middle East and Asia, and that they were surrounded on each side, left side by Christianity, right side by the Muslims, and in order for them not to succumb to any of those, they decided to go with Judaism, and that's how they became the Jews, and that they wiped up this history from the map so people wouldn't know that it was actually them. This is all false Jesuit thinking. So they make up this kind of stories like, Arthur Koestler here saying that the Jews, the 13th tribe, and all that kind of stuff, that they actually come from there, showing, trying to make the Jewish story believable, and people fall for it. But as you can see right here, he says 13th tribe. There's a 3 in there. The Vatican code of deception is still at work. So people are going to read this story and actually believe what Arthur Koestler says. Because like I have said before, in order for you to be deceived, they have to tell you a little bit of truth mixed with a little bit of lies. So when you read the 13th tribe, they're going to say, okay, the Jews are not actually Jews. All right. But the story is to make you believe that they are the ones running the world. That is the end of the game. That's the end of the story. That they are the ones running the world, but they are not really the Jews or the Hebrews, as we call them, the ancient Hebrews of the Bible. This is how the Vatican paints this deception. And someone's going to read this story and read this book, 13 Tribe, and actually believe it. And they're going to say, oh, the Jews run the world. It's all deception. So that's just what I wanted to show you, and some more code for you. So I just want to, before I go further, I just want to read what the 13th tribe is all about. It says about the book here, it says the 13th tribe is a book that attempts to explain the origins of Eastern Jewish population largely decimated by the Nazi onslaught during the Second World War. Koestler shows through extensive research how a trading empire was set up by a tribe we know as the Khazars between the expanding power blocks of Christianity and Islam, how the people were converted to Judaism by their king as a way of standing apart from both, and how the people and their wealth were dispersed through the countries of Eastern Europe after the collapse of the Khazar Empire. All right. It says it is a controversial history because it challenges both the assumptions of Nazi philosophy and Zionism that the European Jews were racially different from the populations of the countries in which they later settled. Koestler, as a Hungarian Jew himself, was particularly interested in the major part of Khazars played in the founding of the Hungarian nation, in fact, which later led to the tragedy of 1944 when the Nazis exterminated over 500,000 Hungarian Jews who were virtually indistinguishable from their Christian neighbors. So this is just the fake story, because I can tell you for a fact it's either this dude in Arthur Koestler is a Vatican Jesuit, or it could be that so I was trying to say that this guy in Arthur Koestler would happen to be a Vatican Jesuit, a trained Vatican, high up in the Illuminati, which happens to be the Vatican. So let's move on to something else. I just want to show you some more code so you can actually see that the Vatican has been playing you guys all along. Now, recently there was a hurricane that happened in, I think, Florida. A couple of days ago, it was reported on the news. And I'm going to show you the code inside because people don't understand how those hurricanes and flooding that happened in Houston, Texas, was given so much airtime on the news. It's not given that much airtime because the Vatican really cares about the people being flooded or the hurricanes. It's cared about because there's an angle in which the Vatican is trying to paint to people in showing them that global warming is a threat, which is real. Because when you listen to the news, they're going to be talking about it side by side. The flood and the hurricanes, and then they're going to talk about global warming, that we need to do something about global warming. All these are methods and forms of controls that the Vatican is trying to enforce on its people to willingly accept the New World Order and willingly accept the devil into their lives and Satan and bind them with them and go to hell with them. That's just what it's all about. So let me show you those pictures so you can actually see that I'm not making this up. The codes are there in multiples of 3, which equals to a 6. So let's go. So here is the first picture that I took on my camera while I was just out and about. And it says here, Irma, referring to the hurricane. You can see right there, it says a category 3 hurricane, Irma. I'll show you some more pictures, so don't worry about it. It says, Irma barrels towards Florida with category 3 force. You see the code there? Multiples of 3. Multiples of 3. Vatican code of deception. And let me show you some more pictures because I can't make this up. I want you guys to see clearly. There is a code at work when the Vatican is trying to tell you lies. And here is another picture from this hurricane that happened in Florida. As you can see, it was reported at 3:05 p.m. People, I can't make this up. These people plan these things. They don't just sit up there. The timing of the news, when it's reported, there's always some Vatican code of deception and symbology in it. So take a look. It says here, 6 million people told to evacuate Florida. 6 million people. Why is it 6 million people? Because it's a lie. All right? They're trying to paint the picture, all right, of global warming so you can believe it. It says here, that's what it says. I'm showing you the code, Vatican Code of Deception. 6 million people told to evacuate Florida. You hear a lot of this 6 million around. 6 million Jews died during the Second World War, and all of this stuff is, you always see the code all around you. I'll show you another picture from this particular code so you can actually see. And right behind us, you can see it says Category 3 Hurricane. The code is all around you. All around you. Because the Vatican is trying to shape your world. And when they're trying to make things that they tell lies so they can remember about it, muscle memory, they put in all this. All right? Okay, another picture, same from that hurricane again. And here's another one. You had your favorite liar, deceiver of all time in, what's his name? Anderson, I'm forgetting what his first name is. Anderson. As you can see, still see the timestamp there still says 3:05 p.m. and it says 54,000 people in shelters across Florida. Category 3 hurricane. 54,000. Somebody's going to say 54,000 doesn't look like it has any code. But 5 plus 4 is equal to 9. And 9 is a multiple of 3. The code's still in there. These guys don't just make this up. It's deliberate. People, I can't make this up. So I just want you to start seeing when you watch the news and you want to know what's a lie, so you don't make your heart heavy and start wondering, is it real, is it true? Just look at the code, because the news in general is a whole bunch of lies, but there are specific lies different from the other lies that I want you guys to start noticing. So that's another code in there. Last picture on this, it says here, as you can see right here, it says, let me try to reduce it again so you can actually see. It says 6.3 million people told to evacuate Florida. Can you see that? The code's all around you. They say 21 mile per hour wind speed, 31 mile per hour wind gust. It's all in there. 3:08 p.m. They deliberately decided to report this news at this point in time. It could be none of these events happened at 3:08 p.m. But just because they want to put that code, because let me tell you how these guys communicate. If a Vatican Jesuit or anybody who's higher up in the Illuminati of the Vatican is somewhere in the world watching the news, all right? When they look at this code, because besides the fact that I'm showing you this, when they look at this, they can understand what you're supposed to do next. It's all Vatican codes in which how they communicate amongst themselves. All right? So somebody else who's watching the news that's in the Illuminati like the Vatican is going to watch and understand what's going on, and he's going to act accordingly. They don't need to pick up the phone because it's all done covertly. All right? So I can't make this up, people. So I want you to start noticing this. You're going to start seeing that this number is being used deliberately as a Vatican code of deception to tell lies, to construct your world, and make you believe stuff that isn't real. That's just what I wanted to show you. So we'll get to the concluding part of the video for today on Lissa Lopes and just wrap this up. I hope you've learned something great so far. The Vatican code of deception and how to spot what's real and what's fake in anything, whether real signs or fake signs. And let's move on further. Oh, I had one more picture. I thought I had already laid this out. It says here, news: at least 6 tornado touchdowns in last hour. See that? 6 tornado touchdowns in last hours. Why wasn't it 5? Wasn't it 6? How can they count? By the way, the question is, how can you count the number of tornado falls? Is it possible? So then you know this is fake news. Even Donald Trump will say it's fake news, but he is also telling you a lie. All right? And can you see what they're saying here? Can you see how they measure this this scale for a hurricane here? It says here 200, down to 200. Then they say hurricane category 3. At least 6 tornado touchdowns in last hour. It's all fake news. All fake. The code of Vatican deception at work. So I want you guys to keep your minds sharp and brains to see this thing and know when these people are telling you a lie. They always plug in their codes. So let's go further. So we want to wrap this up on Lissa Lopes to show you that Lissa Lopes' left eye was actually dude all along, been lying to you that she was female. Some other pictures of Lissa Lopes, and that's Lissa Lopes right here with Aaliyah. As you can see, they still have the straight back of a male, which is my back. Lissa Lopes here, straight back, 2 males. They both knew. All right, no more pictures. And Lissa Lopes again, look at that, straight back all the way into the pelvis. There is no arch here, people, so I don't want you looking at this and confused. It's because of the way Lissa Lopes is standing, trying to twist, right? There is no arch in the back. It's straight all the way down, straight back of a male. Next picture, Lissa Lopes again, and I want you to look at where the hand is at, right? It's still the straight back all the way down, and arms are below the navel, just like Beyonce puts on his hips when he's trying to tell you a lie that it's female. This is a man. Lissa Lopes, 100% male, born male. Let's go further. Another picture. Can you see that? Straight back, straight back. There's no arch in the back because Lissa Lopes is a man, straight all the way into the pelvis. Lissa Lopes has my back. Let's go further. You can't even see no hips at all. Well, this one is Photoshop trying to make you look like it has some hips, but it doesn't. This is the crotch right there, and the widest point in that hip, let me blow it up. As you can see, the widest point from where the Q angle starts, it's above it. Above, not below. Above the crotch. Above the crotch, because Lissa Lopes is male. Some more pictures again. Lissa Lopes again. Look at the hand placement. Comfort zone for a man. Straight back. No hourglass figure. Now, someone's going to say most females don't have an hourglass figure. You're going to have some sort of form of an hourglass figure. There is no woman that's straight up and down. No, none. Right? And as you can see, the Q angle of Lissa Lopes right here starts higher up. That's where that jeans pocket is at. This is his crotch higher up because this is a dude. All right? Some more pictures. Lissa Lopes again. I already showed this picture, but just for clarification, I'm showing it again. Straight back. You can't deny it. Straight back. Straight into the pelvis. And look at the comfort zone of where Lisa Lopes puts his hands below the navel, because that's my comfort zone. I'm a man. All right. Some more pictures again. Lisa Lopes again. And I want you to look at where does the Q angle start. Is this right? Is this right? The right place for a Q angle to start? Let me blow up the picture. See that? That's the crotch. That means the hip joints are right here above the crotch, like a man should be. And this thing has been lying with makeup and hair and a smile, trying to make you think. Look at the neck region. Now, I don't usually use all that because, like I said before, you can't really identify. If you study a document, I don't want you to get confused. We're trying to show you how a natural man and a natural woman should be, all right? But because plastic surgery is now involved, the facial features can be changed to make look like male or female. So we can't use that anymore, right? So what you have to attack when you're trying to identify a transgender, don't worry about any of those other attributes, all right? Just attack the hips and the back, all right? The hip joints of a woman are going to be below the crotch. The hip joints of a man are going to be above. A female is going to have a pelvis tilted forward. A man is going to have a straight pelvis. A woman is going to have an arch in her back. A man is going to have a straight back. A woman's pelvis is going to be wider. The pubic arch of a woman is going to be wider than that of a male in comparison that they are of the same height, okay? That's just fact, all right? So looking at Lisa Lopes right here, you can see that that Q angle is starting above the crotch, not below it, because this is the pubic arch. This is the pelvis of a man. This is my pelvis because I'm a man, and Lisa Lopes is a man too, with some fake breasts on hormones, all right? Okay, let's go another picture. And look at that. I don't know who this dude is. Let me see. His name happens to be Andre Rizon. Okay, I got the name right. And these people are painting lies to you every day that they are with a woman when there's actually a man. And here the Q angle is very, very clear for you to see. This is the crotch. The Q angle is above it. All right. The Q angle is the angle between the hip and the knee. All right. See that? It's above it. The Q angle is above the crotch, not below it like it should be with a regular female, because this is a dude. And look at where Lisa Lopes' hands is at again. The comfort zone of a man. And this man right here is trying to fake that he has a waist. It don't have no waist in there. The waist is right here where Lisa Lopes' hands is at. And this dude who smiles and fakes to you that is having a good time on the award shows. But you should know, all award shows that you watch are Vatican Freemasonic shows. They are honoring their Freemasons who are used to tell you lies, to shape your mental world, shape your mental scope, and keep on propagating the fact of whatever they want to propagate to you based on the New World Order. So let's go. Some more pictures. I already showed you this picture, but this one is much more clear. As you can see, you can't deny the fact that that's a straight back. That's my back. That's the back of a male. This ain't no female. If you've been having feelings for this thing and loving it, I want you to quit right now, except you're homosexual, and that's allowed. We have no problems with homosexuals. That's your life. That's the way you want to live it. But if you're heterosexual, all right, don't be deceived no more. This is the straight back of a man because this is a dude. Let's go. Some other pictures. Look at that. Straight back all over. You can't deny the fact. There's a straight back. Straight way into the pelvis. Damn way too straight. Because this is a dude. 100%. All right? Born male. Transgendered female. Let's go. Some other pictures again. And look at the comfort zone for Lisa Lopes again. Straight back into the pelvis. They're wearing a net. Wearing this thing with a net, trying to fake that he has a waist above the navel. Nah. That's all what it's doing. It's straight. You can see right there, it's straight. And look at the comfort zone. Faking you with a smile. Probably the face has been gone through some sort of cosmetic surgery, but doesn't change the fact that you're looking at a dude. All right, some more pictures again. I already showed you that picture. And look at this one again. You can't deny it. Straight back, straight into the pelvis because this is a dude on hormones. trying to fake that it's female. And as you can see, the pelvis is not tilted forward, it's straight. It's probably had something done to the butt to make it look this way, but the pelvis is still straight because you're looking at a dude. All right, some more pictures. Look at that again. Straight, straight, back, straight. Now, where is the Q angle starting for this so-called female? It's above the crotch. The widest point in that hip before it starts to taper down, it's above the crotch. Not below it like a female should be, because this is a man. Some more pictures. Look at that again. You can't deny it. Straight back. There's no arch in that back. No arch at all. Because Lisa Lopes is a man. All right, some more pictures. Lisa Lopes again. As you can see, straight back, straight. Trying to twist and turn to put an arch, but it's all fake. Straight, straight, straight back. All right, let's go. Some more pictures. And look at that. This is the so-called guy called Sean Newman who was dating, supposedly painting the false picture that he's dating Lisa Lopes and that she's a girl. Well, we can tell right now that we know his sexual preference just by looking that this thing doesn't have no back of a female. It's a straight back. The guy can't even put his arms around it because there is no waist there. It's no waist at all. Painting the picture that this is a woman when it's not. All right. And here is TLC. Now, a lot of people are going to wonder, okay, what are the sexes of of Chili and T-Boss? Well, we checked them out. They're all female. Chili right here is female. T-Boss is female. And this is a man in the center. They made him the center of attraction with a straight back and no arch in the back because this is the back of a man. Lisa Left Eye Lopez is a man. All right, some more pictures. And look, okay, this is just a picture of T-Boss. I just wanted to you guys to know that this is female because you can see that this is where the widest T-Boss is spreading all the way down. And where her Q angle starts is right below the crotch. Her crotch is going to be right around here and it's below it. You can see how acute that Q angle is because T-Boss is female. I just wanted to put that transvestigation out there so you guys would have no questions about T-Boss. T-Boss is female. And Chili, as you can see, has an arch in the back. Arms are where a female's arms should be on her waist properly. Arch in the back. You can see how it's bending into a C shape. Arch in the back because Chili is a female. And here is them again. So I just wanted you to notice the hip location so you can actually see that Chili is spreading, and that's her waist above the navel as a case should be. Her tummy is bending or curving inwards, upwards, and downwards as a female tummy should be. You should see that's where her Q angle starts. Her crotch is right around here. The Q angle starts there, the widest point on her hips where her hip joins at. As you can see, the acute Q angle right there because Chili is female. Same also with T-Boss. Crotch is around there, and see how acute that Q angle is because she has the hips of a female. They're both female, okay? But you can't trust them because just because I tell you they are both female doesn't mean you should make them trustworthy. They should have told you that Left Eye was a dude, but they never did. They didn't even make a tongue slip, all right, to let you know. So you can't trust anybody you see on TV. You can't make role models of them. They're all paid professional Freemasonic liars of the Vatican, okay? And another picture just to show you that Chili is a woman. As you can see, she has there's an arch right there, a deep C arch inside the back. All right, as you can see, and that's another fake transgender man over there. That's Floyd Money Mayweather. See, you can't trust any of these people because Chili, if indeed she was messing around with Money Floyd Mayweather, should have told you that Money Floyd Mayweather is a woman and not a man, as the TV portrays us to be, as the Vatican makes us believe. But they never did that, so you can't make any role models of these people. All right, another picture. Still just showing you that these two are women. As you can see, the widest point on that hip is below the crotch. Below that's a crotch. The widest point is below it, showing you that she's female. Same with T-Boss also, although her hands are covering. And remember the one trick I used to tell you, that if you draw a line from a woman's crotch, all right, it's always going to end inside the palms of her hands, and that's always a clear indication of a female. In a regular female, I'm not saying that some females can have longer arms, but in most cases with regular females, this is what usually happens. So if I draw a line from T-Boss's crotch down into the palms of her hands, you can see that she's actually female, okay? And you can see what's happening here with Chili. She's trying to find T-Boss's waist, and she's doing it properly. The hands are around the waist, which is going to be directly above T-Boss's navel. Navel will be right here, and arms are above it, showing you that she has a regular waist. And as you can see, the elbows also are spreading, trying to conform to the hips. So these two are female, but nevertheless, they're all liars. It's pictures of both of them again, and this is a dude. As you can see, still a dude. Once a dude, always a dude. More pictures. This is still pictures of T-Boss again. I just wanted you guys to make sure of it, that you can see the Q angle right there is very, very glaring now for you to see that it's below the crotch, below, because these are two females. Okay, more pictures again. I already showed you that picture, and I think I've come to the end of today's presentation. That was my last video, or last picture, sorry to say. If you learned something, that's great. I hope that you did. And please don't leave me no stupid comments. This channel is not for delusional people or people who refuse to see the truth, who don't give a damn about it. Just live your life and forget about us, all right? Don't leave any stupid comments and say stuff like, he was dead, you was talking about the dead. I don't care. I care about the truth, and I'm going to still keep telling the truth until the day God tells me not to. Oh, sorry, did I say God? Sorry if I mentioned God. Until the day I can't say it anymore. And that's quit, because God doesn't talk to me. So I don't want people to make that mistake of saying that I said God talks to me. He doesn't. All right. Okay. So I'm not a spokesman for God either. So I don't want people to say have that assumption. I'm not a spokesperson for God. Nothing of that sort at all. All right. I just like telling the truth and showing people the truth. God is real though. But am I a spokesperson for him? No, definitely not. Okay, so if you learned something, that's great. I hope you did. Subscribe, stay tuned, and I leave you with these words, and I mean it every time I say it, and I hope you hear it and hear it well. Look with your eyes and see with your brain. Thanks, and bye-bye.